Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are here for a 50+5 card pack opening to celebrate the new expansion of the Journey of Ungoro. Let's begin. Well, I guess it's not 50+5, I guess it's going to be 50+8. Well, that title's wrong. Hey, this is interesting. Let's see what happens. We go from the year of the Kraken to the year of the Mammoth. And I assume that means that every year is going to be a random number, random character, and not based off the Chinese New Year. You can now use in standard, your cards you can use in standard change each year. Okay. Which is odd because I suspect it's going to change even more than yearly. But that's what they're saying right now, is only basic and classic cards in the last 2 years of cards can be used, while all cards can be used. Okay. The following sets are now wild. Wow. So bye-bye to Blackrock Mountain. I hope you purchased it, because now you have to make all those cards with dust. Bye-bye to Grand Tournament. You can't buy packs for that anymore. And bye-bye to the League of Explorers expansion too. So I hope you purchase that, because now all those cards have to be made with dust. All of these cards have to be made with dust now if you ever want to play with them. So any new player is almost certainly not going to have these cards and is going to want to play in standard, not wild. Some classic cards are now wild and can't be played in standard. So on top of all of the entire expansions being wild now, which is what they have been doing, they've newly introduced this idea that they're even getting rid of some of the classic cards and putting them in this Hall of Fame, which also they put the reward cards under the Hall of Fame too when they updated the game. So that's going to be even more of a pain. These cards have been moved to wild, so no more Azure Drake in standard play, no more Sylvanas Wild Runner, and no more Ragnaros the Fire Lord. Which is interesting because this update just turned Ragnaros the Fire Lord into an elemental. So as they're trying to introduce this new concept of elementals to play a deck with them, they've banned one of them. It's kind of one step back and one step forward. Power Overwhelming, Ice Lance, Conceal, all of those are gone too. Because you own some of these cards, here's a special gift to celebrate. What am I celebrating here? Honestly, what should I have to celebrate about that? You just told me that some of the cards I could have played in both methods, standard and wild, now can only be played in wild. That's not anything to celebrate. You might as well have just said, here's a bribe. Alright, and we have a special quest to win 10 games in standard mode play, which I will do that at the end of this later too. You have no standard decks. Go create one. Wow. I used to have standard decks. This was a standard deck, this was a standard deck, and this was a standard deck, and this is a standard deck. Maybe, no, that's not actually true, but there were 4 standard decks of the 18 decks I had, and with the bans now, none of them are standard. So I am only on wild. Only on wild as far as that. I guess as we're doing the card pack openings, we'll see other friends doing that too. So I've been working hard doing all the daily quests to get up to almost 10,000. I plan now to spend 5,000 to purchase this without actually spending any actual money. Which it's kind of funny because I just watched somebody open 600 packs on a brand new game, and of basic classic cards, and in doing that, they practically got every single card in Classic, with lots and lots of duplicates, but still not quite enough, or not anywhere close enough actually, to get all of them in gold. And 600 packs, you're talking $600 there, and that's crazy. So, sorry it's taken this long to get to the card pack opening, but let's begin. My goal in opening these card packs are going to be not particularly focus on the biggest on every single card. I've already put out videos that have looked at every single card. I've heard people say some BS that if you do this and try to get as many sparkles, there's a higher chance of winning. It's not true. But people do like to look first, so I will do this, and we'll see that here you have I believe what are these, rare when they're blue? And then we know all the others are common because they didn't glow a color. I imagine with these 58 card packs, I'll have nearly one of every card, and I have enough dust to probably get one of every card of this new expansion. I'm not expecting to get two of everything. I'm not expecting to get every single legendary. I suspect I'll miss maybe one, and I'm certainly not expecting to get everything in gold. Like, I don't play gold at all. I think it's a huge waste of dust. Particularly now that you've seen so many things are banned, and we'll look in the collection to see that more later on. There's better things you can do with your dust than make everything gold. Unless you've just done everything. Unless you've already put potentially $600 or more into your game. If you're putting that much money into Hearthstone, you better be getting some money back out of it, or not playing anything else. That's more than likely why I'm not ever ranked very high, is I don't. So here's our first epic. I don't play it non-stop. I don't have any passion to play it non-stop either, but if I did, I probably would be a much better player and much higher in the rank than I get. I'm not very consistent here with opening the packs. Now, I think I've seen a key, some kind of key on the keyboard you can press that would just open these packs faster, but I never can figure out what it is, so if somebody knows, let me know in the comments, instead of just dragging it over. And I don't want this to be too long of a video, so I don't want to, there's a lot more work to do. I have the type of decks that I need to make, and in that though, I also have the type of decks I want to make. Each character, to begin with, is going to, I want to try out a quest deck to try to do all the quests. And in that, if I can't do a quest and accomplish one of the daily quests decks, because now there are cards that have quests, and they've previously had daily quest, which we still have daily quests. We got a special daily quest today where we have to win 10 games in standard. So I'm gonna have make some decks that do double duty if they can. Otherwise, I'm gonna make these quest decks and then replace them. So 2 golden rares. The golden versions really look a little bit better. They're animated slightly different, and they are worth twice as much dust. So in my current setup, it's better just to turn all those golden commons, the 2 we've gotten so far, into dust, and then create use that dust extra. Ideally, what I want to happen is to have every single card, and then when I get a free pack that just gets turned into dust that I could hold on to for the next expansion, or if I started running into a massive amount of dust, maybe then I'd start going to golds. And I certainly have seen bigger streamers that just have huge piles of dust and they don't even do anything with it because they may not even have anything they can do with it. Certainly if you're very good at playing arena, you can gamble for a lot of dust that way. I'm supposed to be hovering over these, aren't I? I will say it again, last time I did a card pack opening, I don't see particularly what people see in card pack openings. I don't understand the logic behind it, but people certainly do seem to like them, so I am here to please. And then, of course, because I play a lot more than probably a significant portion of Hearthstone players, I do have enough gold to at least open 50 packs. And see, if I opened 100 packs, I still probably wouldn't have 2 of every card. I would roughly guess you are somewhere closer to 200 or maybe even 300 or 400 packs necessary to get every single card, because the rarity affects your chances of getting them. Notice that we are approaching halfway through and we haven't gotten a single legendary, and I know there's at least 1 legendary in the game, in the expansion here. This is legendary, finally. And they have done the statistics, and as you approach 50 card packs without getting a legendary, it gets easier and easier. However, so that puts a hard limit to the maximum number of packs you would have to open, but it's not great. It's not a great limiting factor. It doesn't guarantee that in 100 or 200 card pack openings, even for an expansion, that you'll get everything. And then there is, of course, a lot of talk about, like, should you open packs one at a time, then exit out the program and then come back in, or something like that. And I don't believe there's really a difference, but if there is any difference, the way I'm doing it, by opening them all at once, is more than likely the right way to do it. I'm pretty sure there is no difference, because I think it's all server side with Blizzard, and they know the last time you got a legendary. It practically has to be server side, because otherwise there would be cheats out there that would allow you to just hack what the cards in the packs are, so that you could open a 1 pack and get 5 legendaries, which is, I don't think, possible. That would be something worth putting on YouTube, certainly, if you could open a packing of 5 legendaries. It's just, I seriously doubt that that's even doable. We got another legendary, which is better than the odds. We are slightly limited with the expansion. There's only about 130 cards added to the game, so with less cards, the chances of getting legendaries are slightly higher than if I was opening just classic cards. But which I usually end up doing because that is the best move still. With everything except for classic being banned, having a complete collection of classic for standard play is still very much useful. In fact, it's, in my opinion, the first thing you should do is try to get all the classic cards, and then after you have all the classic cards, start to think about getting the most recent expansions collection. Or possibly, if you want to play in Wild, focus on getting the least recent standard expansion, because those packs will get more expensive. It is significantly more expensive to make cards with dust than it is to get them with card packs. There's one card in this expansion that's quite interesting because it's going to give you a card pack like this of this expansion in your deck, and assumedly the way it's written, it seems like if you find that card pack in your deck, you will actually get in the card pack, but I'm pretty sure that they've just written it incorrectly, and what it's going to do is instead you're going to find a card pack in your deck, and then for that one game it's going to add 5 random cards from this expansion into your deck. So that would make it significantly less interesting of a card, but it is still a very interesting card because that's the first time we've had something that has added 5 cards from an expansion. We do have a card that will add 5 random legendaries into your deck at the beginning of the game, which is still very much a card you probably need to play. Just having 5 extra cards and guaranteeing them to be random legendaries is an amazing benefit for having one moderately underpowered card to yourself at the beginning of your game. So we're approaching the risk of not getting another legendary. That wouldn't significantly surprise me. We're getting a lot of these Ninja Turtles, I'm noticing. The Egg Napper. What's funny here is there are probably enough cards to do a Tavern Brawl, which is another thing I need to do today. That would certainly surround or be themed like the Ninja Turtles. The question is, has Blizzard gotten the co-advertising agreement signed with the owners of Ninja Turtles, which I think that's Marvel, or is it now? I don't know. Like that's something comic book people would have to tell me. Is I thought Ninja Turtles was owned by IDW, but I could be totally wrong about that, and that IDW was bought out by Marvel. So, but if it is owned by Marvel, then the question is, why didn't we have... Well, we did have a Ninja Turtle movie recently, and it was pretty bad. There's not a ton you can say about these cards. I'm not even really looking forward to any card, especially in this expansion. I looked at all of them, and there's just some questions. I was able to play that dragon that was here, the pack before, and because I unlocked early, and it adapts twice, and the adapt key phrase is interesting. Certainly, I'm not sure it's the best thing in the world. When something adapts, you just have a discover an ability you want to add to your character, and you're given three abilities from a small selection of abilities you could get. So now that I know how adapt works, it's gonna come down to the averages of how, on average, how well does this adapt card play. Then the only other thing I really have to think about is I don't understand the elemental cards at all. They seem to have a very limited strategy, kind of like the dragon cards, where they just don't synergize to much of anything. And so I don't know if you'd really want to play an elemental deck. And I didn't see any special card there. I didn't really see any special magic spells other than the quest ones. Hey, we are going to get one more legendary, it looks like. So, King Mosh. 3 more packs. So, it's really just down to the quests. Can I make decks that can play the quests? We got 3 of these. The couple of weapons they add to the game are not amazingly interesting. The razor leaf things added to the rogue decks weren't amazingly interesting. So maybe I just have a lack of vision so far, and just haven't theory crafted any good decks yet. But ooh, wow, I am way ahead of the curve here. 4 legendaries. Maybe that's because there's less in this expansion than I expect, and maybe the 50 packs to 1 legendary ratio is way higher, because I've gotten 4 in 58 packs. Legendary. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. So, that's the 50 card pack opening. Let's see how we want to do this. We just want to look at the Nguru cards, and we should just go into crafting mode. And so right now at the top of it, disenchanting the extra cards would give us 780, and I guess that is what we want to do to begin with. 780 dust. Go out of crafting mode, go back into crafting mode. So we got 1 of these. I don't have enough to create more than 2 legendaries. And some of that dust, if not a lot of that dust, was handed to me because of cards getting banned. So we got 1 of these, 1 of these, 1 of these. And then 2 of everything except for the one we missed. And then we missed this card, and we missed this card, and that's just for Druid. We got only 1 of these, only 1 of these. We did get this legendary. We missed this card, and we missed this card. And see, these would only cost like 100 or something. So I could search by rarity and just craft everything that's common, and then craft everything that's rare, and then craft everything that's epic, and then try to craft everything that's legendary. but I am better off waiting and holding on to the dust until we do the deck rebuilds. Alright, so here's another legendary we missed. Here's the deal. You disenchant this card and you only get 5 dust. I have 2 of these cards. You disenchant this golden version of it, you get 50. 10 times improvement. So disenchant and take that dust. Because I desperately need dust. And since I had 2, that's great. Otherwise it would have cost 40 to craft, which still is a benefit of 10 dust. Sometimes, most of the times though, it's an equal trade. And I think we will see that example here. We missed this one, we missed this legendary. So here you have a mana bind, and here you have a mana bind. To create this rare is 100. To disenchant this is 100. So I just don't want deck golds right now. I just don't want gold cards. I don't like that it's mix and matched. It would be so mix and matched. I couldn't get 30 gold cards in my deck. So I'm just going to get rid of it. Normally what I would do is I would then immediately craft a second copy of this. But I'm going to just hold on to it because 3,200 dust would be enough to get 2 legendaries. But far, far from getting everything. And see if I got another 50 card packs and open them. That's not going to help. It would certainly get us a lot closer to having everything, but I still have a decent chance of not having all the legendaries. We've seen more than 4 legendaries that we don't have, and we're not even halfway through with the cards right now. So, and I just bought what would have been $50 worth of card packs, and I could have pre-ordered it and gotten a special card backing artwork, card back artwork, but it's not really worth spending the $50 in my opinion. $50 doesn't get you everything. You're closer to probably, I'd say for this expansion, at least $150. And imagine that every 3 or 4 months spending another $150 in this one game. You would have to really, really love Hearthstone to do something like that, or be very, very rich. I know not $1 doesn't mean the same thing to everybody, but it is. Collectible card games in general are pretty greedy, and they are built around whoever is the richest wins or has the good cards. That's certainly always been the case since Magic the Gathering first came out, and it's kind of hard to get around that concept, really. If anybody could do it, though, it would be a digital version of the game that would just say, we're going to make it really easy to collect all the cards, or we're going to give you all the cards to begin with. And there have been some games like that. They just didn't have the money that Blizzard has to continue developing and do good artwork and good interfaces, and moderately good interfaces. Now, in picking what cards you would want to craft, there's a very decent argument to crafting all the neutral cards first. There's also this running line through this expansion in particular where there are beast cards in the neutral. There's a lot more beast cards that have been added, and there's some beast cards in every single character class, or almost every single character class, which then means you could make a beast deck in any character, which is helpful considering there's both a daily quest to play a certain number of beasts and a daily quest to win by a certain character class. So if, for example, the mage, you don't have a good mage deck, it would be very helpful to turn that. You can now turn a mage deck into a beast deck and play at least a select number of beast cards in a mage deck and do something different with it. So I could type legendaries here. I wish there was a quicker way to do this though, but let's just type in the word legends and we'll do it this way. Nope, you gotta type in the whole word. Interesting. Legendary. No partial searching apparently in here. So 2 legendaries still not collected. 2 legendaries were collected, so we're up to 4 we need. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. 15 plus 4 would be 19 more. Yeah, 19 more legendaries. If I got 4 in 50 card packs, rough estimate there, you're talking over 250, somewhere maybe a little bit less than 250 cards necessary just to get that. And I imagine if, how do you spell epic? Is it with a C? I guess it is. I imagine if you were to open 250 more packs, so 300 in total, a little bit less than the 600 I just watched somebody else open for the classic pack, which makes sense. I imagine you would get at least 1 if not 2 of all the epics. And then we are missing probably less rares. Let's see, start back at the beginning here. Yeah. We could almost, with this dust, we could probably get all the rares and commons right now just with the dust, because to craft at least 1 of these is only 100. And we could fill in to have 2 of everything else. So, since there was nothing I was super looking forward to, it will be up to the deck rebuilds that will happen to figure out how this works. And now we are in a weird position because this wild set has expanded quite a lot. Yesterday, when I was looking at it, League of Explorers Grand Tournament, Blackrock Mountain were all in standard. Now there are nearly half of the expansions are in wild. And that's kind of crazy that they went from almost all of them were in standard play to now very few are in standard. But that's what standard's about. Standard is about doing some very basic gameplay for new players and not doing the crazy combinations of different cards from different expansions to do great strategies. So if you want more strategies, play wild. So the Hall of Fame has banned, let's see, well, it's banned these all neutral cards and 3 class cards. So they're not getting rid of things specifically because they just want to. These are actually cards that they found to be problematic, and you can probably look at the cards and realize that there might be reasons for that, or there might be things you don't realize. Like Ice Lance in particular for a mage deck, I'm very surprised that that's banned. Where the Hall of Fame are very specific classic cards that they're banning. All of these other ones, unfortunately, are every single card in the expansion. So It's everything that ever was. And in the meantime, if I go in the well, I was in crafting mode. I had all of those expansions, but the Grand Tournament were card packs. So almost certainly I didn't get all of the cards before they got banned, which means now I have to spend dust to craft them, and 1600 dust for every legendary here. I do want a complete collection, but it's going to be very, very expensive and very possibly never happen. Well, that was 50 card expansions, 50 plus 8 packs opened. We saw what we got. Now we're going to do, in the next recording, card deck rebuilds, and it's going to be a little bit odd on how I do it, but I'll figure it out in the next thing. Stay tuned if you're watching live. Otherwise, as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. Thank you for... If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.